Hello, you're watching the English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm Chong Nguyen, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. Vietnam steps up strategic reforms with 4 new Politburo resolutions. Vietnam and Laos enhance experience sharing in technology and defense industry. Vietnam-Australia, partners for peace. On the morning of September the 16th, the Politburo and the Secretariat of the Party's Central Committee held a national conference to implement 4 key resolutions on international integration, or Resolution number 59, Energy Security number 70, Education and Training Reform number 71, and Public Health Improvement number 72. The hybrid format event was chaired by General Secretary To Lâm with the participation of President Luân Cường, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, and National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn. General Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense, General Trịnh Văn Quyết, Chairman of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army, and General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff and Deputy Defense Minister, were present at the central venue. At the conference, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính delivered a presentation on the core contents of Resolution number 71 of the Politburo on breakthrough development in education and training, and the action program for its implementation. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính emphasized that Resolution number 71 holds strategic importance, serving as a foundation for the strategic breakthrough in the development of high-quality human resources. Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thành Long, presenting the key points of Resolution number 72, stressed that this is a strategic, comprehensive resolution with high practical applicability. It demonstrates the special attention and strong direction of the party and state in the work of protecting, caring for, and improving the people's health in the new era of development. Presenting the key content of Resolution number 59, Comrade Lê Hoài Trung, Secretary of the Party's Central Committee and Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, affirms that the issuance of Resolution number 59 is a crucial policy decision, marking a historic milestone in the country's international integration process, and affirms that integration is a strategic driving force for Vietnam to move confidently into the new era. Affirming the necessity of the issuance of Resolution number 70 of the Politburo on ensuring national energy security to 2030 with a vision to 2045. Comrade Nguyễn Thành Nghị, head of the Central Commission for Policy and Strategy, emphasized that the resolution proposes key requirements to firmly ensure national energy security. Energy must take one step ahead to meet the full demand for socio-economic development, national defense and security, improve people's living standards, and meet the requirements of rapid and sustainable national development in the coming time. On the afternoon of September the 16th in Hanoi, General Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense, chaired the briefing of the Standing Committee of the Central Military Commission to decide on a number of important issues. The briefing discussed the preparation for the 12th Military Party Congress in 2025-2030 term, including the preparation of documents and personnel, agenda, security, and safety work. Accordingly, to date, relevant agencies have basically completed the preparatory work for this important event. General Phan Văn Giang emphasized that, on the basis of thoroughly grasping the conclusions of the Politburo at the conference on approving the preparation for the 12th Military Party Congress, the General Political Department, the Standing Office of the Subcommittee on Congress Documents, continues to study, collect, review, supplement, and perfect the draft documents for the Congress. Regarding personnel work, the agencies continue to review the political quality in accordance with the regulations of the Party's Central Committee. At the same time, the Subcommittee on Congress Protection continues to direct the development and implementation of combat readiness plans, ensuring security and safety, promoting information, dissemination, and ideological orientation, fighting against erroneous and hostile viewpoints, augmenting cultural and artistic activities to welcome the Congress. The same day, Sing Lieutenant General Lê Huy Vịnh, Deputy Minister of National Defense, received a delegation of the General Technical Department under the Laos Ministry of National Defense, led by its director, Major General Chompheth Senyasuk. Sing Lieutenant General Lê Huy Vịnh emphasized that defense cooperation has always maintained one of the key pillars in the bilateral relationship. The two sides agreed to augment cooperation in the fields of defense technology and industry in the coming time, promote information and experience sharing, and improve the quality of human resource training to meet requirements and tasks in the new situation. The Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense is ready to send experts to support training and provide technical guidance to officers and technical staff of the Lao People's Army in fields suitable to the needs of the Lao side. Major General Chompheth Senyasuk expressed his hope that Vietnam would continue to support the Lao People's Army in the field of technology, increase delegation exchanges, and share experience in foster cooperation in defense industry and logistic technology between the two countries. Also on September the 16th in Hanoi, Mr. Nikolai Plantonovich Patrushev, assistant to the President and Chairman of the Federal Maritime Board of Russia, led a delegation to visit and work at the Vietnam-Russia Tropical Center. Sing Lieutenant General Nguyễn Trường Thắng, Deputy Minister of National Defense, hosted a reception for the delegation. Sing Lieutenant General Nguyễn Trường Thắng expressed his delight at the increasingly substantive and effective development of the Vietnam-Russia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership in many fields, especially in science and technology cooperation. The Russian guest highly lauded the close cooperation between the two countries at the Vietnam-Russia Tropical Center, which is the only cooperation model maintained since the Soviet Union period. Over the past time, many Russian scientific organizations have cooperated with Vietnam to engage in research in the fields of tropical materials, ecology, and tropical biomedicine, contributing to fostering many scientific works of high practical value. The two sides agreed to continue expanding cooperation in the 2025-2029 period, focusing on research on advanced materials, genetic technology, adaptive technology, and technology transfer. Previously, Mr. Nikolai Patrushev visited the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum and laid wreaths and offered incense in tribute to heroic martyrs at the memorial on Buxton Street, Hanoi. They are present wherever needed, from remote highlands to borderlands and distant islands, in natural disasters or daily operations. Where soldiers go, military television reporters follow. Upholding the proud tradition of Army Broadcasting Center, today's journalists of the Vietnam National Defense Channel remain dedicated to telling stories of courage, sacrifice, and unity, spreading the noble image of the Vietnam People's Army, affectionately known as Uncle Ho's soldiers. Naypyidaw, the beautiful capital of Myanmar. In less than half an hour, a devastating earthquake reduced the city to rubble. Less than 3 days later, amidst the wreckage and despair, the green uniforms of the Vietnam People's Army appeared. They moved into the heart of disaster to help those in deepest need. Alongside them were the cameras and crews of the Vietnam National Defense Television, frontline reporters of the communications battlefield, capturing real, unfiltered stories from within the heart of the disaster zone. I captured images that deeply moved me, like the moment our combat engineers used their bare hands to remove debris and stones in order to retrieve victims' bodies from the rubble. That image still stays with me. Across the country, the footsteps of uniformed television reporters never rest. At Bờ Y border commune in Quảng Ngãi province, a known area for smuggling and illegal border crossings, reporters have repeatedly followed the bodyguard force, capturing images of raids and criminal investigations in action. Filming soldiers while they carried out operations is always challenging, but we'll equip ourselves with the necessary skills to clearly understand our mission, ensure we complete it effectively, and most importantly, stay safe and protect our equipment. Each frame, each news segment carries not only professional effort, but also the spirit of comradeship and the strong bond between military journalists and their fellow soldiers. Together, they help convey the heroic and humane image of the Vietnam People's Army to audiences far and wide. Coming up next, Vietnam-Australia partners for peace. Vietnam and Timor-Leste eye more substantive and effective cooperation. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1973, the Vietnam-Australia relationship has been flourishing, bringing many benefits to people of the two countries. Notably, the upgrade to a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2024 marks a pivotal milestone, creating favorable conditions to further foster cooperation in various fields, including defense, with peacekeeping being one of the most prominent cooperation areas. On the journey of Vietnam and Australia joining hands for international peace, Military Hospital 175 under the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense is one of the typical examples of this close and effective cooperation. To better understand the achievements of Vietnam-Australia defense cooperation in general and in the field of peacekeeping in particular, QPVN reporter had to talk with Colonel Michael Jensen, Australian Defense Attaché to Vietnam and also a dear friend with much sentiment for the country. First of all, thank you very much for taking this interview with QPVN channel. How do you evaluate the efforts and achievements of MH175 in taking part in UN peacekeeping operations over the past time, Colonel?
So Australia has been working with Military Hospital 175 since the very first rotation of the field hospital to South Sudan in 2014. So we've done 4 rotations. This is now our 4th time that we've been preparing and helping them undergo the training to be ready to deploy. And I've got to say, I think it's always a great pleasure for us to be working with MH175. They just do such a great job. They have learnt so much over the last years, and every year that we're doing it now with them, it's just getting easier and easier. And I think it's a great sign of how much Vietnam has learnt from their peacekeeping deployments. And I think now we're at the stage where we're now starting to learn so much more back from 175 about how to get ready and what they need to deploy here. So I think it's great. We're looking forward to, again, sending them on their way in 10 days' time. And I know they're going to do some great work, some fantastic work in South Sudan, where the work they're doing there is just so important.
That's great to hear. So from this mark, what can we expect in the coming time about the defense cooperation between the two countries, especially in the field of peacekeeping?
I think we have learned so much after working with Vietnam over the years in peacekeeping. In terms of where we're going in the future, I think it's really about doing more practical cooperation, stuff that's actually, teaching both of us something new, trying some new things and branching out into areas that we haven't done before. I know with peacekeeping in particular and MH175, we've looked at getting into strategic aeromedical evacuation, as in long-range medical evacuation, and that's a whole field of expertise which is new. It's something different, and I think it's something that's incredibly important for a country like Vietnam as you get more and more involved in helping regional nations and nations around the world, that you're able to now use your expertise sort of in a much wider range of areas. So we're very happy to be on that journey with Vietnam and helping you to develop your skills even further.
Thank you for your sharing, sir. At the invitation of Acting Foreign Minister Lê Hoài Trung, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation of Timor-Leste Benedito dos Santos Freitas paid an official visit to Vietnam from September the 15th to the 17th. On September the 16th, Acting Foreign Minister Lê Hoài Trung and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation of Timor-Leste held talks. The two sides agreed to closely coordinate in delegation exchanges and high-level contacts, deploy the joint committee mechanism at the foreign ministerial level, enhance cooperation in trade, investment, agriculture and fisheries, education, tourism, and people-to-people exchanges. Acting Foreign Minister Lê Hoài Trung affirmed that Vietnam would continue to work with ASEAN countries to support Timor-Leste in completing the necessary procedures to soon become an official ASEAN member. The Minister of Timor-Leste once again expressed his gratitude for Vietnam's support for Timor-Leste in the process of joining ASEAN, affirming that Timor-Leste always attaches importance to developing relations with Vietnam. He suggested that the two sides continue to promote cooperation in areas with great potential, maintain mutual support at regional and international forums, especially at the United Nations and ASEAN. And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch news again at qpvn.vn. Now, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.